Dispatcher, almost there. Pulling in now. Over.
Bye-bye.
I'm back again, shortly. I'm Lawrence, this is Gizmo Trains if you're new to the channel, or possibly just wondering what happened to me over the last 9 months. Back around March, I made an announcement that I was getting out of the hobby, and I wasn't sure at that time if it was temporary or permanent. And I had a lot of people kind of reach out, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Even at the local train store, the Train Loft, a lot of people there was asking Jeff and was curious. And so I wanted to make a quick video to kind of give an update of why that was and what is going to happen here in the future. So long story short, I had to make some changes. There's a few reasons why I stepped away when I did. The biggest one was the wife and I wanted a new house. The old house we were in, it was a nice house. It was a great house for us to start out with, but our family grew. You know, we have our son, and he's now almost 17. And between a toddler and a 17-year-old is a big difference with the amount of space that one kind of likes to have and needs, right? Not to mention our family of cats grew, and so we went from 1 to 3. And also we just had goals that we have, you know, evolved and want to do and different things. One for me is cars. As you can see here, I have a much larger space than what you may have seen in some of my previous videos. As well, the wife's a big gardener, and I wanted to build her a garden and give her an opportunity to do what she wants and loves, and where we were at just didn't give us that. So we stumbled upon a home with a nice piece of land that we just couldn't turn down for the price. And so I had to make a hard decision. In the end, the trains were toys. They were a hobby, but this goal was more important to me and giving that to the family. So I had to make a tough decision, and back in March, I sold the entire collection. How is that evolving into the future now? First off is this huge space here. This is pretty much, I will say, triple the space that I had at the old house. So basically this one bay I'm standing in right now is about where the old layout was, and if you look around, there is tons of room here, more than I have. Is it the hugest, biggest, most badass garage ever? No. But it gives me a lot more room to grow, so that's awesome. So the main point of this space is my other side hustle, my business, Gizmo Motorsports, which is my racing, and as well we'll do some parts and fabrication and stuff, and that's all things, again, looking towards the future of goals and things I want to do. Basically, this started out, and I'll show some images here, as an empty barn, essentially. So over the last 6 months, I've put a lot of time and energy down here, and still have a little bit left to do. I still have to insulate the roof here. There's a few things upstairs, a little bit of organization to do, but it's come a long way, and I'm really happy with the progress. But it was a lot of work, like I said. We had to refinish the floor. I had to build the second story up here, this mezzanine area, which doubled my space, or I would say, give me that, where I would say triple the space. Now I have this whole second floor area back here for storage and some other things that we'll get to in a second. But it allows me also to stay a little cleaner, more organized. So back here in this corner will be a spot for hanging out. I'm going to have a couch, TV, a little mini fridge. The wife likes hanging out with me down here. And also I wanted kind of a man cave, a spot to chill. Obviously, I do not have a layout right now. I still have the old layout, but it doesn't really fit into what my future goal is and kind of what I wanted all along. At the old house, I was very limited on space, and so putting it in the garage was the only real option I had to have any kind of layout for an O gauge train because they take up a lot of space. They're bigger scale. It's not HO, it's not N scale. When you get to 072 curves, I mean 72, right? That's 72 inches across, almost 8 feet. Takes up a lot. So this space allows me to really get creative and give the train somewhere to go other than just a circle all the time. Because that was the other thing, to be honest. The old layout was a good starter layout. Just like my home, the old home, it was a starter home, as many will say. And it gave me the chance to dip my toe in the layout building and the hobby, and I learned a lot. I had to cram too much into that layout. I wasn't really happy with a lot of the switches that were there. You know, I put switches too close to curves, and that sometimes caused derailments. I had the crossovers going into the round table. That sucked. I was always having connection issues pulling engines in there. My goal here is a little bit different than just your normal layout. So let's step through it a little bit. I'm planning to do a combination of I guess you would call sort of a ceiling height layout along with a table. So I'm going to walk around and we'll talk a little bit about kind of what I'm thinking as well. I'll show you a little bit of what I currently have planned for the track. So we'll start here in sort of what I was talking about as sort of my hangout spot. So we're going to plan to put a couch here. We're going to have a TV here. Of course, I have some trophies and stuff here on the wall. We'll start here on my layout of what I have planned as well. So we're going to start by having a layout that runs maybe about 10 inches down from the ceiling, and I'm going to have it kind of circling in this area. We're going to use 072 curves, and it's going to be a double track. So we'll have the outer loop that will come around, and then it will loop back in this direction. The inner track will just be an oval so that I could have a small passenger train or smaller set. They can just kind of loop in this area whenever, all the time, just stay looping, or, you know, maybe just storage or whatever. So it gives a little bit of flexibility with this space. So that outer loop will come back around this edge here, and then they will come together. So what about over here? Well, this is where it's going to get a little fun and interesting. As we round here, I'm going to start a gradual incline, and we're going to follow all the way around the barn here. It's going to go up, 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 up over the mini split, up to the second floor. All right, so we're up here on the second level, and yes, it's a mess right now. I'm still doing a lot of insulation. As I said, the roof here still has to completely be insulated, so that's a work in progress. But this area right here, that's where those tracks are going to come up to, and I'm going to have it come up to about 40 inches here of height off this floor. And this is where we will put the table. And right now, it's going to basically, that loop is going to come around here. We're going to do an 072 loop, and then it's going to come back and it's going to connect back over here to that double track, then go back downstairs and loop around. But the cool thing about having all this space around here is something I'm also considering doing is maybe in certain spots to kind of have little areas to build little scenes. You know, it doesn't have to be very big, but, you know, against this wall here, you know, you could have a small section that butts up against it, maybe have a few building flats on the back, right? You could kind of build a scene up there, have a few trees in the background. You don't need a lot. So that kind of wraps up what my plan is for the future of the layout. So I hope that answers questions you may or may not have had. Again, I had a lot of people at the beginning kind of asking me, and as I kind of been dipping my toes back into this, a few people's message on Instagram, you know, a few people at the local train store and stuff. So wanted to do this real quick and kind of give a little explanation and also give a little insight on what my plans are going forward. So if you want to see this come together, be sure to subscribe and follow along. I will start on this in the coming months. Also have gotten a few models I'll probably do some videos on as I get some time. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about anything here, or tips, tricks, anything, I'm always happy and welcome to hear those opinions, so post down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching as always, and I hope to see you again soon. So take care, see you next time. Bye-bye.